You're listening to Mating Habits of the Modern Geek, advice on love and dating within your own species. Are you having trouble finding that perfect geeky match? Do you need dating tips or relationship advice? If the answer is yes, you've come to the right place. I'm your host, Kelly Hightower, and in this podcast, we'll discuss the issues, answer your questions, and give you the skills you need to help you become better at dating. Hello and welcome to episode 124 of Mating Habits of the Modern Geek. I'm your host, Kelly Hightower. Mating Habits is a proud member of the Geek to Geek Media Network. If you want to join us on the Patreon, you can at patreon.com/matinghabits, and you can join the public Discord in a link that I promise I will eventually share in the show notes. Joining me today, we have Will. Will is new. Will Benson. I can use your full name, correct?
Absolutely. Ben Wilson, Will Benson, anything but Will Hightower. That's unacceptable.
And there's always time. Some man will take my name someday. I'll force it. So Will is the co-host of the PlanesTalkers Magic the Gathering podcast, which is on Twitch, and also you eventually then go to YouTube, right?
It's Facebook. Actually, I use a little service called Restream. We do our shows live, so we record live because it's a way to back it up, and it goes to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all at the same time.
Very efficient.
So for
I like
a small nominal fee every month, I'm able to Twitch to send to multiple at once.
Meanwhile, when we're done with this, I will take the next 3 hours just cutting off the front, cutting off the back, and uploading it to YouTube by hand.
Well, twitch.tv/PlanesTalkers Podcast.
Yay!
I got it in. Ding. I won't use my sound effects. I have a ding. I'm just saying.
No, don't use your sound effects because it'll freak me out. So before we get to the haps and recaps, the topic or the title of this episode is Still Negging in 2021? Fuck around and find out.
Oh dear.
I love to curse in a title. It makes me so happy.
It does. Well, isn't that like a big no-no though for like geek to geek?
No, it is, but it isn't, because I told them it's marked explicit. I told them when I joined, I said, I love you guys because I knew them from my GURPS campaign. I said, but I can't be censored. I can't be caged. Like Miley Cyrus said back in the 2011s.
Maybe you're a wrecking ball?
Well, that too. But yeah, and so they agreed. So, I mean, it's too late now. Yeah. I already did their plugs. They're stuck with me at least for one more episode. So yeah, let's get to the haps and recaps so we can kind of get folks used to you, because you're new. You're brand new.
I'm new, but I've been here. Like I've emailed. You mention me every week, which again, thank you. I'm 100% a virtual online narcissist. The more I can hear my name online, the better I feel.
Same.
Let alone my voice. I'm, in the words of Kevin Smith, I'm a press whore. So anything, anytime. If you have a podcast out there and you just say Will, you have a listener for life.
Yeah, and if you say it 3 times, you'll appear on the show. So,
yes, exactly.
Which is what I did.
Yes, apparently I'm Beetlejuice. Yes. With better teeth. Okay, not
well.
Really.
Well, no, of course you do. But thank you, because you've come in clutch here. Once again, I don't know if people have noticed the theme for the past 2 months. I'm waiting to the last minute to do everything, and so everything's a little bit late or just right on time.
Listen, we're Generation X. That's how we roll.
Yeah, I can't. I literally was out of fucks before the pandemic. And so then during the pandemic, I was like, well, this is great, because now everybody's kind of where I am, because there's nothing we can really do and nobody's really expecting a whole lot. And then now that things are ramping back up, there's like half of us are like, yes, let's get back into it. Let's get on top of things. And the rest of us are like, I'm still going to hang out here and just do the bare minimum.
Yeah. Try having kids.
Oh God.
It's like, no. I have to be like, absolutely, let's do things.
Yeah. No, well, I'm enjoying doing things. Which nice segue into haps. I took a watercolor class with Paris. And I guess it was sometime it was Thursday of this week. Okay. We're recording this on a Sunday. I was like, what day was it? Where am I? And what it was like a remote sort of Zoom thing where it was tied in with a craft brew and Carborough, which is a craft brewery. I don't know if you could pick that out from the name. And so they paired beers with these people from the art museum teaching us how to do watercolor, which I'd never done before. And it was so cute. Got a little pack of like little watercolors, little like supplies and stuff. We sat there and drank beer at a table at a bar with no masks on. I felt like I was living in the future. It was fantastic. And I've gotten I've gotten an update from Paris. She's continued to do watercolor at home and is actually making some really nice art.
And you, on the other hand, are like, well, I've continued drinking at home. So
right. I was like, hey, I did my 3 little pieces. I put them on Instagram to make sure that everyone knows I did a thing. So I'm done, complete. But also, I just got back, which is another reason why. And if you listen to the Loki recap, I explained a little bit about it there. But the month of June was a vacation weekend and then a conference week for me. I just got back from a week-long conference in Asheville, North Carolina. And it was a conference from hell, not necessarily because of the content, because it's just continuing education courses, credits. So it's little seminars about stuff you already know or stuff that is kind of pertinent to your job. But I was the 4th youngest woman, and I'm 43, in a room full of the most pearl-clutching, conservative, uptight women. I mean, like, maybe like a handful of them are cool, and the rest of them are just like Karen haircuts and can you believe she wore open-toed shoes? Like, just the most un-me people, and I caused a bit of an uproar. I had to get sworn in for some dumb ceremonial reason that's meaningless, and we had to go up in front of everyone, and I didn't swear on the Bible because I'm not a Christian, and I feel it's inappropriate for me to use someone's holy book that I don't believe in to then make a promise. It's an empty promise on a holy book that's not mine. And of course, that huge stir, I was like, immediately the devil. And when I sat back down in my seat, the woman who is my longtime family friend who drove up with me up there, she goes, what did you need, a Quran?
Oh dear God.
Which what would make you think I was Muslim? Like what? Like what about me?
My head is uncovered.
I just what? No, I don't believe in that God either. Technically, it's the same God, but it's just. I mean, no, I don't believe in that one either. Oh, okay. Well, I just, and so it just became this big thing about why didn't she swear on the Bible? Because I'm not Christian. Well, how? But you're white. How could you not be a Christian? Like that's literally how they think. It's like I haven't been a Christian since I was 15. Like, so. Funnily enough, the only person who showed me any support was someone who's also a colleague of mine who's a Mormon. And he said, you should have brought Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and told him you were going to swear on that because that's a good book. And I was like, you're right about that.
I was trying to think like what would be good.
I mean, like a vampire erotica novel. Like I don't know what I could swear on.
You got to find one with like the worst title though, like like Tits of the Vampire, the Derek Char story or something, just with the absolute worst words in it so that the person holding it has to be like,
what is this?
Just that moment. I would have my camera out too. I'd be like,
when the book is sticky, inexplicably sticky. And then it's just like, because also the whole thing is so stupid. The whole process of taking an oath or an affirmation is so dumb. And like, and it's just an affirmation. It's what you do with people who, if you swear them in virtually, I swear people in for a living. Like, it's no big deal. So I raise my right hand. It's like, here's another asshole thing I won't do, which pisses people off. I don't do a pledge of allegiance.
Okay.
Because it's stupid.
You unpatriotic fuck.
I pay my taxes. I was born here. My family's been here for 327 years. I'm not going to pledge my allegiance. Like, what do you, or what? It's like stand up with the rest of these people, cover your heart, the organ that has so little to do with your personality or what you could possibly ever deem a soul. Like, it'd be better if I covered my head, like my brain and my thinking and my intentions. No, cover your heart and repeat this chant. It's like essentially you're asking me to take place in a witch's spell, and I don't want to do it. I feel it's stupid. America doesn't care.
Oh, and we have now been flagged by the NSA. Hello, the NSA.
Well, speaking of flags too, you want to make sure you get not picked by me on OkCupid. Say burning a flag should be illegal. I'm not picking you.
Okay.
Did you buy it? You can burn it. That's my thing. Did you pay for it? You can burn anything you paid for. You can burn unless it's styrofoam. That's bad for the earth.
Well, I mean, I burned a house with spiders in it. I mean, that's as far as I've ever gone.
If it's your house, more power to you. This once again, I like capitalism. I don't understand everybody's problems. But anyway, so one other thing, because the other thing I'm doing is playing Mass Effect. I finished Mass Effect 1. Now I'm back on to Mass Effect 2. So
awesome.
the big surprise there. You were like, I'm going to play Mass Effect, so I am. And not you, Will, just the world. But I guess you too. You're not stopping me.
I stop nobody from doing anything. Well, and I love I got to be honest. When I saw the notes and it said me too, I'm like, oh God, was she like? Did she have a moment at this event? I'm like, oh, are we gonna find out like somebody was like sexually harassing her at the conference? Awesome, this is great. I'm gonna be a part of this. I'm gonna be interviewed by like somebody.
I wonder how many people have done on Twitter and done hashtag ME2, thinking it was for METOO, as in me also, and have been like texting out their sexual assault stories to like BioWare. BioWare's like, this has nothing to do with us. That game came out in 2011.
I mean, I was like, oh, she must have shortened it. Shit, something really must have happened, especially given the topic. I'm like, this is great.
Gotta get to it. No, I'm just playing Mass Effect.
Okay, totally different then. I'm okay with it. I'm glad. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad you were not sexually harassed.
Thank you.
However, content is content.
You're right. No, you're right. It would have made the discussion different. It would have made the topic of the show different. But one of the things that I need to do that I haven't been doing a lot of, I need to pimp my GURPS campaign.
Love the GURPS campaign.
Oh my God, now it's getting really good, and by really good, I'm getting really funny in it.
Hank and Cat person 3 ways.
No. Poor Hank. So Bama Shocks. Shout out to Bama Shocks. He does not listen to this. I have 0 downloads in Alabama.
Yes.
Yes. So I know. I love when people are like, I listened to your show, and I go, no, you didn't. Not unless you moved to another state.
Oh shit. So know, like when New York, what I'm like, great show. And you're like, motherfucker, you ain't listened to this yet.
No, New York's one of my biggest markets.
Because I do what I can.
Thank you. You just leave it playing
on the entire state of New York.
I appreciate it. But no, it's what it is it's an RPG podcast, a real play. And we're doing a group setting. It's a homebrew space world. It's Firefly meets Babylon 5 meets just nerds.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
A little bit. It's a little bit. You're not wrong. And we're having adventures. It's being run. I think all of us who are in it, with the exception of Raven, she does Girls Gone WoW. Well, we're all podcasters and Twitch streamers, and all of us except for Raven are members of Geek Media Network, and that's who launches it and puts it out. And they it's under the heading As the Dice Roll. And the name of the campaign I'm in is The Cautious Optimism. There's another regular D&D that's being run under that same sort of, they all come out weekly. There's something called the Horse Feathers campaign. There's something called What Is Not, which I think is a superhero campaign. I'm not in those, so I don't care. But if you like listening to me, go listen to The Cautious Optimism.
Don't listen to those.
Yes, there you see. What the D&D one's chaos. It's by a bunch of non-podcasters just being chaotic. It sounds like they're having a good time. And Joe Hogan, who's been on here a bunch of times, I think his brother's in that one, and he's in it. Joe Hogan's in all of these.
He's in everything, and I don't know how the guy breathes now. And now that it's summer and he's a teacher, I think it's going to be probably worse. It's going to be like, I have entire weeks to fill up.
Well, he's going on a trip for a month.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so we just got done recording GURPS yesterday, because we record every other Saturday. And we were we're coming up on a year now. We have 40 episodes in the can ready to go. And I think the 19th just went out.
Yes.
So we have enough. Like the stuff that you're listening to now, we did 6 months ago.
Yes.
So much has changed. It's gotten very exciting. But yeah, so he's going to go away for a month. And it was like, well, what are we going to do? I guess maybe we could just get together, chat online. Like, my gaming group is going to be gone for a month, and we would only met twice during that time anyway. But it's funny how just even that, which when it first started was an inconvenience. I'm like, oh God, it's another time I have to go do this thing. And of course now I love everybody and can't wait to do it. So go check that out. As the Dice Roll, it'll load into your podcatcher. And then the ones I'm in are the Cautious Optimism episodes, and to check out the other ones too if you like real play RPG podcasts. So that's me. Those are all my haps. What's going on with you, Will? What are your haps?
Well, not too terribly much. Well, since I've never been on the show, my haps started. My parents, they met and got married and had me.
When a man and woman love each other.
No, things have been good. We had Bama on our show last week. So which
everywhere.
was fun and technically fun in a lot of ways, but he was amazing. You know, because we talk about Magic the Gathering. So basically my level of geek in the geek quotient is rather high. But he did really well. We had a good time. You know, we're seeing a lot of the downloads enhance on that. And, you know, I'm kind of loving that. It was also my middle daughter's, well, I shouldn't say middle daughter, middle child. The daughter's birthday was like yesterday. So, but she also had her COVID shot Friday. So the second one. So both her and my wife were down. All, you know, finally we sent her back to her dad's yesterday because it's not technically our weekend. But, you know, she's 19. It's the last one she's home because she's going to move in with, she quit college and is going to move in with her boyfriend.
It'll be okay.
I know.
Boys are awful. Trying. Here's your example.
Trying. And I'm being supportive because I know full well that she's got this little stubborn streak that her mom has. And I'm like, if I say anything,
let it go. Let her
will not come home. And I'm like,
decisions.
No. I'm like, I want her to be able to come home when the fit hits the fan. So I'm like, absolutely. Sure. Move in with Logan, your friend who works at the gas station for $14 an hour, and you work at a restaurant 3 days a week. This will go well.
The first boy I ever fell in love with worked at a gas station. It happens to all of us.
So, and then I'm just so happy that summer's kicking off. I got my new hammock. I sat in that yesterday. School is out. Like
nice.
Up here up in upstate New York, they don't leave until like the last week of June. So, but they don't go back till like the second week of September, like right after Labor Day.
Oh, wow.
So finally summer's kind of kicking off and we've got a ton of stuff going. So I'm excited. You know, it's a little weird, like you said, with the podcasting thing. And I know you used to do this. You used to have seasons where you'd be like, yes, I've done 10 episodes. I am now done for 3 weeks.
Right. See you fools later. I'm going to go not do this.
Which I've thought about, but I know that we can't. So,
but
I've told I've told my audience, like, you know, I'm like, look, we're going to take weeks off just here and there as we go during the summer. You know, if we got nothing to talk about or, you know, the fridge is still working, we may not be on that night. So, but other than that, it's been amazing. So I'm honored to be here. It's a privilege and a pleasure.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you were able to make it. And I talking about the being off, you and I both have Patreon listeners, and when it was really free, I had one guy who would send me a check every 6 months for $25, and I think that was just because he liked me. I don't even think he listened to the show. But I cashed that thing. I was like, thank you for the money, sir. It's a legitimate check. But when you have people who pay you monthly, you're like, crap. I got to do something.
Well, that's why I started the ride home. I'm like, I'm in my car 45 minutes every day.
Yeah.
One way. So it's, you know, an hour and a half. I'm like, so there's already a Magic podcast called like Ride to Work with Mark Rosewater, which is one of these guys. I'm like, I'm going to do Ride Home with Will. And it's literally, I talk about whatever the hell I want. Usually if I'm very tired and I feel like I'm going to fall asleep on the wheel, it's time for a Ride Home with Will episode. Where I'm just
very safe.
Yeah, well, because I binge a lot of shows, so I'll end up throwing something out there. And then I just finished binging Studio 60 and realized I recorded an episode on it last year. So now I'm like, oh shit, now that's wasted content.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, I love Aaron Sorkin to death. Well, the guy does no wrong.
He's good. He is good. It's funny you mentioned that because I actually took your advice. I was doing a video version of What Does Kelly Think About, and I was reviewing like Marvel shows.
Yes.
And the video editing is not my first nature, and it's not come easy to me. And it was the sort of thing trying to organize it where it would be a day where I was already had like I was clean and had makeup on, or like I was going to be at home. Like these are things that are not always constants in my life. And I went back and looked at it, and I did video versions of What Does Kelly Think About? What was it? WandaVision.
Yes.
And then
Falcon.
And then Falcon or Captain America Winter Soldier. And then at the end of Captain America Winter Soldier, I realized that no one was looking at the YouTube because they were just getting the audio. And it because
I listened in the car.
Yeah, it's Patreon only. And I was like, why am I doing the video? I'll just do that.
I guarantee I'll watch this episode video. Why? Because your co-host is incredibly attractive. So I love watching this person work. It's my favorite thing to do. It's hard. You think I'm looking at the screen to look at you?
No, I know.
I'm just looking at myself. I'm
I
like,
don't think I've seen you yet.
Man.
I've just been looking at me. Actually, I've got my notes up here, but I'm looking at tabs.
You gotta get monitors, man. You gotta get 3 monitors. It's beautiful.
I used to have that at work, and I miss it desperately. Now everything's just tiny laptops strewn about. But
right.
But yeah. So I gotta watch. I still haven't watched it. I gotta watch this week's Loki and do.
I haven't either. Thank God, because I was worried you'd spoil it. So.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not like some people who've been on this show many times.
Roger.
Who spoil things because I don't know how anything works. Yeah. Would you shut your face?
Paris.
No, she doesn't.
I don't mean that,
anything.
Paris. Please don't hate me. My gosh, I hear if you hate me, then I'm hated forever.
No, she doesn't spoil anything. She didn't give a shit. She hadn't watched it. She'll watch it later, and then she watches. She didn't care about what she was like. Whatever. Like, she's into books. She wants to talk about books, and so that's why I'm glad I have all my other girlfriends
reading.
I know they're all big readers, and they all read the same kind of thing, and it's not what I read because I'm a very like fast food type reader.
Yeah,
and so they're like.
My favorite novels have the word Star Wars in them. Like I loved the old like Legends universe and that whole thing.
Yes. I was like, have you read the new so-and-so? No, I promise you I haven't. And I'll buy it and I'll start it and I'll go, I just want to read about people falling in love and kissing. That's all I want to do is read about people kissing. Maybe
my
read
taste
about
has changed. I love biographies now for some reason. Like ever since
That's
the Steve Jobs
dude thing. That's an old dude
I know.
Thing. Yeah.
I get it. Like ever since Steve Jobs' biography, I bought like Michael Sweet's, Dave Mustaine's, a whole bunch of different people. Bill Clinton, I think, had one I read, and like for some reason, I'm digging that. But
Roger reads almost nothing but autobiographies.
Wow.
Yeah, but his
so
are
that
all
means
about
I
like
could be a lawyer.
Oh. Well, I mean, anybody could. Believe me, I work with him all day.
How hard is it really? You stand up and you make an argument.
The hard part was getting into law school. And
right.
taking the bar. That's the hard part. Everything else you just look up.
I took a lot of bars in college.
I'm still taking bars. It's like, wait, are we talking about alcohol or Xanax? Anyway.
Both, if not all three.
But yeah, no, I got my secondary degree in paralegal studies. So I thought I wanted to leave being court reporting and go into being a paralegal.
Oh dear. Aren't those people like the bottom, like treated like lovely people that I'm sure
they're lovely people, but they're treated like shit by lawyers, and they have to do all the work for lawyers. And I mean, lawyers you have to be smart enough to be able to argue, and that's basically it. And you have to show up to court on time, which half of them don't do.
I went to college for musical theater, and I fell into IT. I'm like, I'm like, and I'm certified, but I never went back to. I'm like, I don't need to go to college for this. This is most of the guys I know could barely write, let alone. No, I'm good. And now it's going to change.
It's definitely going to change because all young people already know how to do all this stuff with computer.
Yeah, that's why I'm working on the novel. I'm like, oh shit, I'm 47. If I don't finish my novel soon.
Well, and also you don't so you can pay someone $0 because they just got out of high school to do what it is that I've worked for to learn my whole life. They were born knowing it. Oh.
Well, we want you there to teach them. And eventually I will have taught them. And then what? Well, then they'll make fun of you behind your back. And the first mistake you make, you get fired. Oh, that sounds lovely.
If you meet your master on the road, kill him. No, you cannot train people to replace you. It goes against your own better judgment. Oh Lord. Well,
yeah.
So we actually usually I've been like phoning it in this past couple episodes about like, hey Roger, what do you want to talk about? But I actually have a topic.
Yes.
Which we haven't done in a while. And it's about negging. And I thought it was interesting because this is something that it's like when you see it's like when I'm OSHA trained. I was OSHA trained in 2010. I would have to go get recertified now, but you don't think about any of the safety in the workplace at all until you get OSHA trained. And then you're like, that should be here. This is too close to this, throughway. This is not a push exit bar. Like once you know what you're looking for, you can't not see it.
Right.
And I think once you figure out what negging is And I'll tell you what the definition. It's an act of emotional manipulation whereby a person makes a deliberate backhanded compliment or otherwise flirtatious remark to another person to undermine their confidence and increase their need of the manipulator's approval.
Subtitle: be an asshole.
Well, being an asshole with the express purpose of
Yes.
devaluing the person you're being an asshole to, so that they will be dependent on you, or they'll think
Exactly.
that they're lucky to even be being spoken to by you.
So you can take this out later. So being Italian.
Oh,
mark that down. You're gonna want to take that out, whatever the time is.
I will take that out. I just might just bleep it. I might bleep it and have just people try to figure out what you're on the video. If you want to be a Patreon member to find out what Will said, you can.
Because I grew up in upstate New York, man. That's I know those guys.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, I think there's a difference between there's actual feedback and criticism that people who are your friends or people who are your colleagues or people that you would care about what their opinion was might give you, and that's not negging, that's just them giving you criticism, and whether or not it's valid or not is neither here nor there. The reason they're giving it to you is not to try to, impress you or control you. Right. And I think too, there's there's a sort of, it's hard to say, because you had asked me about this because you had made the comment that you thought that maybe you were negging and didn't even know you were doing it.
Oh, absolutely. I've read some of this stuff and I'm like, interesting. During my 4 years between my marriages, like I dated as much as I did the first 28 years of my life in those 4 years. I had a wild. I had a time.
30s. Yeah, it was a good time. Late 30s was a good time.
But it's one of those things that I realize it's like, I think the difference between negging and constructive criticism is simply earning the right to be heard. If my wife comes to me now and she's somewhat, and I'm not being out of school here, she's somewhat overweight. She's working on it. We've got plans in that. But if she comes to me and she's wearing something that's revealing way too much, too many things that shouldn't be revealed, and she goes, "Do I look okay in this?" I know she's asking me, "Can I wear this out?" And probably thinking she's borderline. Right. So I owe it to her to be like, "No, that's probably not a shirt we want to wear tonight," and I don't say it like that. And if she gets upset, then I'm like, "I'm sorry, I thought that's what you wanted." And, because I used to tell my first wife all the time, who was also somewhat overweight and might've been in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade a few times. That again, take that part out.
No, you get no more edits. You get no more edits. This is it.
But, not bitter at all. Because I would do the stereotypical guy remark, which is, "No, you look lovely." And then she'd get there or something, see herself in a mirror and be like, "This is hideous. How the heck can you even think that?" Yeah. And I'm like, "Well, no, I can tell that, it shows off a little bit more than you would want." She's like, "That's what I was asking you." I'm like, "I thought I was just supposed to always say it looks good." And I did.
Yeah. And I have no advice for that situation because I've never asked anyone what they thought about anything. I've never, and it could be too that, I mean, people could be like, "Can you believe she wore that?" And be like, "Yeah, I certainly didn't ask anybody what they thought." Right.
But you don't care. It's different. It's a different mindset. Probably.
It's a different mindset, and it's not. And I certainly I've only ever dated one really fashionable man, and I never, other than that, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna, you're wearing a Super Mario Brothers t-shirt and cargo pants. What the fuck do you know about fashion? I'm gonna ask you shit. Like, you're fine. Do what you want to do, but I'm wearing this because I look good.
Right. And that works. And I just, if I'm asked, I've realized that if I'm asked in that circumstance, I tell the truth. However, if I'm just meeting somebody for the first time, you never say anything bad.
Well, and I think this is what I was trying to get to because I'd forgotten. I lost my train of thought, but now it's back to me. Well, I think when you said that thing about how you may have done it and not even knowing you did it, I think, and this is going to sound man-hatey, and you're not wrong, but it still might be valid. Don't look at it through that. Pretend it's not me saying it. It's another rational person.
Another rational person? Is somebody else joining us?
I know. Imagine it's just not me. But I think that our society has set up men, and of course, especially cis white straight men,
yes,
to feel like not only is their opinion always valid, but that it's always wanted. that someone would that like, oh, let me tell you what I think about a thing that no one's asked you about. And
That's
I'm not,
valid.
yeah,
That's
and
valid.
I think that is a lot of where people run into problems with me because I ain't asked you shit. I ain't asked you. What are you talking? And so,
Well, it's funny you say that because I used to make the joke when I turned 46. I would be like, I'm a white male now, 46. I'm out of the 18 to 45 demo. Nobody cares about what I think about it anymore. And it's
right,
meant in jest, but
right,
it's also like shit, like there was
yeah,
just that part of me that I was like, mainly it was in jest though, because I would just always be like, yes, I'm a white male and 18 to 45. Everybody cares what I think about.
well, and and it's not your
Meaning
fault.
it joking, of course, but
Sure, but I think that there is an underlying sort of feeling of, well, of course you want my opinion on it. My opinion
right.
is valid because why wouldn't it be? No one's ever told me it wasn't, and the whole world turns on my opinion, and they don't. I think that the understanding is that you think it turns on your opinion. Um,
Right.
Consumerism, actual capitalism, right now turns on the opinions of married white women.
Yes,
Married
that
white
changed.
women control everything now as far as money is concerned, and so that's who commercials are for, TV shows are
Yep.
for, and that's why I think there's a lot of pushback about men who don't understand that change. And it's like, well, how come everything's now for women? Well, because they have all the money and they're spending it. They make the spending decisions.
And I welcome it personally. I
Yeah,
welcome my
hey,
female overlords.
hey, I mean, I'm always like, how many women are in charge here? Because that's how I can tell how much I'm either going to have to help out or I can just sit back and know it's going to go well.
Jesus, you are not wrong though.
I mean, women know how to, they just how they do this. This is what women multitask.
Yes.
Some of us can just multitask and beat you in a fight, but that's my tall privilege.
Please don't beat me up anymore.
I drive to New York and shake you. Come be on the show. Be on the show. But yeah, so I think that there's this isn't a sort of like what I'm attacking are the pickup artist types
Yes.
who know that they're doing this and they're doing it on purpose. Yeah, that guy. I don't even that guy's
he's
still
an
alive.
asshole.
I don't even know if he's still around.
I hated that show when it was out, by the way. When I started reading up on this, I'm like, oh, I remember that Eric asshole. Yeah, this guy's a scumbag.
With
like even watching it, I watched it because I thought he was a scumbag.
Well, and it's this concept that you have to trick women into liking you.
Exactly.
And if you are good enough, you don't. Women will like you. And
I could never pull it off. I was an overweight, kind of funny. I was the funny, awkward friend guy who made awkward remarks and stuff. So I could never pull negging off anyway. Because if I did that, they're like, "Wait, you're fat and weird looking. I'm gonna go over there."
Well, and I think the specific sort of woman that this works on is a woman who has very low self-esteem, and the idea is to keep
daddy
them in
issues.
and to keep them in a low self-esteem sort of way. And this came up because of course I'm constantly online dating. I'm on OkCupid because it's free, and and the stuff's already up there. So
yeah,
it's just, and I will get responses from there, and I got one from someone. We matched, and he's a good looking guy, and he's the right age. He's in the right kind of career. We have the same sort of similar interests, and he asked me what books I'm reading. What books are you reading? Which is a fine chat up type question. And so
absolutely.
I said, I read for a living. So I said, so my fun reading is usually just schlock. It's usually just like erotic vampire novels and stuff. I said, so it's really not anything,
it's
good.
The vampire. Somebody's got to write that book.
Right. I was like, it's not War and Peace or anything. And so then he comes back and he's like, well, I think that with the success of the Twilight books, now he's 45 or 6. I'm 43. Twilight came out when I was 35. Like, it's cool. Or like when I was in my 30s. Like, but he's like, the Twilight books, allow women.
Ruin vampires. Well, I'm sorry.
They didn't ruin vampires. They're fine. It doesn't fucking matter.
They shimmer.
It doesn't matter. Once again, don't get me started on Twilight. It's not a good book, but it was a book for girls. And when grown people get together and talk about what a bad book it was, it's a book for young girls. It wasn't supposed to change your life. It wasn't supposed to be good. It was a woman writing a romance novel for a teenage girl. So teenage girls were supposed to like it. The guy, his response to the Twilight thing was basically that this was like a woman's awakening, and it was written for young women, or for women, not young women. It was written for women to be able to explore their sexuality safely because they were insecure about it. And so he understood why I would like those books. I know. And so I said, well, actually, I said,
you started the sentence with, well, yes.
Yeah. I said, actually, I didn't say, well, I just said, actually, the books that I read are not Twilight, they're erotica, they're adult. I said, and they're about women who are CEOs or leaders in industry who can't find any sort of satisfaction with normal mortal men. And so really hot dudes who are super strong and hundreds of years old, so they have all kinds of money and experience, are the only thing that'll draw them out of their hyper, vigilant, I don't need a man shell. I said, that's what the books I read. And so then
I'm sure he was insecure as fuck after that.
Well, no, he doubles down. He comes back and he says, but I still think it's the same sort of thing about women being insecure.
Of course he does, because he's a woman hater.
And I said, and I was just like, yeah. And
this isn't because of the last episode, this isn't the 7-date guy.
No, this is not. Yeah, let me go ahead. This is not 7-date guy. A small update, and I'll go into detail with it the next time Roger's on, because it was a 7-date plan. But 7-date guy, great guy. We're gonna be friends. Well, I mean, yeah, and there was just no spark, and I'm at a point in my life where I need spark. So,
and Roger's gonna take that and be like, well, that's why it worked.
Who knows what he's gonna say? I can't wait.
I guarantee you.
I'm pre-outraged. I'm pre-angry. No.
All right, go on. Yeah, just get ready for that. Just
get ready.
Psych yourself up for well, that shows it worked. How much time did you save?
So
the guy, he was, I didn't mean to interrupt. So the guy was basically like, women are looking for sexy time and want vampires and Twilight.
Basically, because they're so sexually insecure. And then when I said, no, it's not that, he then doubles down and says, well, I think it still is. And so I think I just ghosted him, and I'm not talking to him anymore. Right. He'll probably be like, oh, it's because she's fat and insecure.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely. I'm not saying yes that he's right, by the way. For those of you at home.
What you mean, Will?
It's like, Will, what the fuck? No. I'm not saying that. I'm just like, yes, you're not wrong. That's probably exactly what he's thinking, because listen, it's in the Y chromosome. It's right next to the Three Stooges love. Okay. Oh, we have this thing where right next to the Three Stooges love is it's never us, it's you. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's why, yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize for my gender.
You can't. I mean, look, no one's as angry that I'm attracted to men any more than I am. I'm the most angry about it. The most angry about it. If only my libido would go away, I'd have full control of my life, and I would be able to set sail on the completely
another what? Well, women at your age, Kel. No.
I know. No, my doctor
was that
laughed
negging?
At me.
That was negging. See what I did there?
No, because we're friends, and you're gonna try to sleep with me. It's fine. We can have back and forth.
Well, don't get me wrong. If anything happens to Wendy, that plan goes out the window, because I'm a guy and we want to sleep with every friend we have.
Well, so, you're gonna have to buy a plane ticket, because I ain't going nowhere. I'm not coming up there. I don't have to.
My wife's gonna listen to this and be like, "You're already making plans." Because I always tell her the joke. I'm like, honey, listen, women have always been my vice. Like, I've never got in drugs, really. I do like a beer occasionally, but I'm not an alcoholic, anything like that. Women were my vice. I'm like, so you have to understand, if you die first, I'm bringing a date to the funeral. I'm like, I let the kids know, they're my stepkids, that Papa Will's bringing a date to the funeral. It's not my fault.
Hey.
Like, it's actually my mom's funeral, there were 3 girls there I was dating. I was literally in a Bad Threes Company episode at my own mother's funeral. And I've like got people like keeping them all. And I'm like, how the hell does this happen to me? And my best friend just looks at me and goes, because you're a man whore. And I'm like, well, yeah, but shit now.
Look, you're sad. It's a sad time. Isn't it interesting though? OK Cupid guy would probably high five you.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm the insecure one.
I was totally insecure. I would never pull that stuff now. I would, but it was just, it was the time. Like, I was going through a divorce and my mother's death, and I was just like
tough.
Dating like crazy.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, oh God. And I told 2 of them not to come. I'm like, because I was going to have one there who was kind of like the girl I was kind of into. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit. what the hell are they doing here? I'm like, first of all, y'all broke the rules. I mean, I didn't break up with him because I had absolutely, when it comes to insecurity, king, high, I mean, worked it out. But yeah, every once in a while, I'm like, I literally had a Three's Company episode at my own mother's funeral because I was just a jerk. So,
well, I mean, did they all know about it? Did they not know about each other? No, yeah.
No. I wouldn't say we were exclusive, but I would never go that far. I never cheated.
Right.
I was serially monogamous, but I mean, and we kept things open and like, it's casual, right? But no one wants to show up at the funeral for the person they might consider like a semi-partner, and find out there's another girl there.
There's a whole table full of you. I feel like, oh,
I was like Animal House. Yes, and over here is Rajesh. But you don't want that. You don't want them talking. So I've got them in separate corners.
Right.
And I'm literally it was awful.
Well, you deserved it.
Funny. I'm crying, laughing on the inside. I'm like, this is fucking hysterical. And thank God I had friends who I could tell like the truth to. It'd be like, but and they were like, my best friend Heather, who's gone, and she's like, and that's the book I'm writing. She's like, she's like, okay, I'm going to help you here. But she's like, when this is over, you and I have to sit down. She's like, because this can't go on. I'm like, oh, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And, your husband, John's awesome. And thank you for being my best friend. And I had another friend with another girl. And so I walked another one around a little bit. I said, this is my friend Chris, and then sent him out. It was,
well,
I got out of it. I pulled it off. I'm going to say this. I pulled it off. But
maybe it was your mom looking out for you, going, what has he done?
Because I even said her, I'm an Irish boy, my mother, sainted Irish mother, so it's like, my mother, would have helped me murder somebody, hide the body, and given me an alibi if I needed to.
So maybe she's looking out for you.
This is just weird. I'm like, how the hell do I get into this stuff? And my friend was like, and I'm like, well, yeah, I know that, but seriously. But yeah, I hate to interrupt, but I was just like, yeah, guys are just ridiculously stupid when it comes to that. So when I've been researching this negging stuff, I'm like, okay, this isn't me. All right, I've never, like I said, I can't be that guy. I was overweight. You can't pull that off.
I mean, overweight guys do it too, but I mean,
do they really? They gotta be far less successful.
Oh, the worst things have been said to me by the most. I mean, and overweight's not I'm fat, so like overweight's not a thing. Like it should prohibit you from having equal rights or something. But like people who truly were just not attractive at all, have had the audacity. The other thing that white men are born with, just mitigated gall.
Yes, we suck. We're scum.
If only you weren't so cute. Stupid orientation. But anyway, I put up 3 articles.
Yes.
I went and found some articles that were not from the 1998, because this is something we've been having a problem with historically for a long time. Just to have other people's different stories or whatever, and I'll put those in the show notes. But
it's like Rick and Morty said, though, before it was negging, it was reverse psychology. This shit's been around since the 80s and 70s.
Oh, of course.
Guys would pull this shit.
It's 100% reverse psychology. And I put a thing in here because when you said, I don't really know what this means, or I'm going to need to look into what this means. Yeah. I wrote this little paragraph just out of nowhere. And I said, these are my thoughts. I think many men do this without knowing it because they've been told by society that not only does their opinion universally matter, it doesn't.
And it does.
It doesn't. But that everyone wants to hear it, they don't.
They do.
And then this was the example that I put. This has been verbatim something that someone has said to me.
Okay.
So this is someone talking to me. Oh, you play COD? That's so cool. Not many women like FPS games. Wow. I'm such a lucky guy to have met a girl who likes actual video games. And you have such great boobs too. That's one of the reasons why I date larger girls. They come with big boobs. Verbatim. Now.
I so wish I could do sound effects because this is great.
So then I put on there, I said, I will deconstruct the absolute insulting and damaging parts of every phrase in this exchange.
I'm down for this because never have I had this, by the way, but now I feel bad because I think I mentioned something about boobs earlier in the week with you. Like,
that's fine.
Like,
they're in the front.
Yes, you're a girl with boobs. My audience will love you.
You can mention that's why they're in the front. I have no problem with anyone mentioning anything, but it's the way that it's being mentioned. So someone says, you play Call of Duty? That's so cool. Not many women like first-person shooter games. Okay, so what that sentence is, I'm surprised you do this thing. I think it's cool you do this thing. Women don't normally do this thing. So now you've made me other. You've told me that I'm not like other girls. And the concept of not like other girls is incredibly damaging.
Is it? Okay.
Because there's nothing wrong with being like girls. There's nothing wrong with it's much like the Twilight thing. Like, oh, or cheerleader. Like women can like what it's like, just let women like whatever they want to like.
So what if he had said, not that I want to defend this man.
No, defend it.
Right.
There's a correct way to say what he said.
Maybe the correct way, what I probably would have said was like, oh, you play Call of Duty? So do I. So, okay.
Perfect.
Yep. That's cool. In my experience, if he had started the sentence with, in my experience, not many women that I've talked to like first-person shooter games. That takes it off of you and puts it on him. Like, I've been stuck in this shell.
That's
this is so cool.
Why
you're a unicorn?
No, but the unicorns, that's damaging. I'm not special.
Okay.
Women play Call of Duty.
I know.
Why bring it up? Why is it being brought up?
He's trying to establish connection with you. I can
say you play Call of Duty. I do too. What's your favorite map?
Right.
What's your favorite gun to use? Do you play Warzone?
Right.
Talk about the game. Talk about the interest. Don't bring up how this woman either relates to other women or is somehow put on a pedestal because even being put on a pedestal is othering.
That's true.
And I know that to someone, once again, to men typically who are not in danger of usually being sexually harassed, stalked, whatever, just be normal about it. Talk to people like you talk to women like you talk to men. Right. You wouldn't say, "Oh, you play Call of Duty? That's so cool." Not many black dudes I know play first-person shooter games. You'd never say that.
No,
you should never say that. To a black person you just met, you should never say that. Don't point out the differences in people to get your point across. Like that's not so that even, and that's something you might not know that you're doing, but but you're othering someone. You're telling them you're not like everybody else, and I've noticed it. That doesn't make people feel special. For women, that makes us feel like we're either frauds or traitors, or you've found out a secret, and because of the way that we've been brought up.
So then my question becomes this, because this is some of the stuff I was thinking too, is that I look at my son, all right, my eldest, and he's my stepboy and all that, but this kid's got, when I say no game, I mean no game.
Right.
As in, like, I give him some advice sometimes. Like his roommate at one point in college was playing, soccer, and he liked soccer, and he was playing with two different girls. I'm like, Nicholas, why are you sitting here? Go talk to your roommate and maybe see if any, like, get in there, like, at the very least make a friend. Right. And he's like, no, man, he'd invite me. I'm like, okay, cool. But it's weird because I wonder now if that type of thing would have been, I'm noticing more and more. First of all, we're able to identify people on the spectrum. Like, I think I would have been on the spectrum now, but because I was born in 1973, the spectrum for me was called, well, just be like everyone else.
Right. Same. Yeah. No, I have an anxiety disorder that has never been diagnosed. I know it. Yeah.
Yes. So the fact is, though, some of that I can look at and go, he's not trying. I think, like I said, I think he's trying. He's not doing it well. But I wonder how much of that is trying to, all right, for the first part, the minute he goes to boobs, the minute you start talking about chesticles, you're out. All right. You should never bring up a person's chesticles. But, and yeah, like, up to that point, I could get behind that and go, well, he's awkward. He's an awkward cat, and I wonder how much he's been out there in the real world. Like,
if a 17-year-old guy said that to me, I would be like, son, you're adorable. Get out of here. I'm too old. I could beat your mom.
But then he's like, but look at the abs.
No, abs are meaningless.
I know.
Abs are meaningless.
I could go for 3 whole minutes now.
Congratulations. Thanks for not stringing out the disappointment.
You almost ruined my monitor. I almost spit taped right here.
But so let's get to the boobs part. Let's get to the boobs part.
Yes.
So, and you have such great boobs too. If you're going to be brave enough to say it, leave it there.
Yes.
The next
last part is
the next part, which meant because I think a lot of men, especially on dating sites, want to let you know that they're attracted to fat chicks. But you know what? You talk to me.
Yeah,
I
you
already
matched
know.
with her. Yeah,
I already know. You don't have to bring it up. And you know, and so that's one of the reasons I date larger girls. They come with big boobs.
Oh dear. And that's not a universal truth, by the way, son. I just
well,
want to let you know.
I know.
Been many a disappointing time with that one.
You're not wrong. But even so, there's men out there who like small boobs. Oh, that's fine. There's women who like all greater boobs. It's fine. But the point is this concept of, even if you think with taking the pickup artist out of it, so not the ones who are like, let me go up and I can totally land this fat chick because she'll be grateful for it. Like, get that out of it. You're just a stumbling around nice guy, legitimately nice guy.
Right.
When you bring up the things, once again, this is an othering. That's one of the reasons
You're not wrong.
I date larger girls. They come with big boobs. Okay, what do you want, a fucking medal? The fact that you're attracted to large women, congratulations. So are 85 to 90% of all men everywhere. Like, this is not, you're not, these are things that women don't say to men. And they're things that you would not say to a coworker. Like, you would never say this to a coworker. And if you're meeting someone for the first time, or you're trying to get to know someone, then you can't, these are negative things.
You don't bring it up anyway. It's kind of like,
well,
it's for me, it's kind of like the pregnancy thing. Like, all right, I don't care if a woman is 9 months pregnant, because you know what? When I was 15, I worked at a grocery store called Wegmans, and I was cashier. At 16,
we have Wegmans here. We're not animals.
Oh, I miss Wegmans. We don't have it here. We should. It's a Rochester thing. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, I make the ultimate faux pas you never make. I was like, oh, and when are you due? Not pregnant.
Yeah.
Yep. And you do it once, and I think every guy does it once.
Oh, and then you're like,
you're like, literally, you're like, you could be crowning, and I'll be like, wow, you're having a baby? That's incredible.
That's what I told. I have one of my clients when I was a freelancer. There was another attorney, and she was there, and she was obviously pregnant.
Right.
And she and I had actually talked about her because she was pretty far along.
Belly comes from around the corner 5 minutes before she arrives. Great. Got it.
So she went out to the restroom, and my client leans across just me and him in the room, and he goes, she is pregnant, right? I was going to make sure she's pregnant. And I said, yes, she is. I have confirmation she is pregnant. And he goes, well, I don't know when you're supposed to say something. And I said, I tend to only say something when the baby's half out.
Yes.
That's when I feel comfortable initiating it. When the baby's half out, and go, oh, just like you said.
I did a lot of online dating, and no, I never mentioned their boobs. Don't get me wrong. I was looking for them.
Of course.
I was like, no. Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. Yes. Like, no. Like, you know, I was like,
which is fine.
So I already know they're there. And if a girl mentioned it, I'd be like, oh, you do? And again, it just comes from.
You just have better game. It's just,
it's not even game. Like, the problem I have with negging overall is that I read through these articles, and really, I think why I think I never did it is that even at my worst, even at the post-divorce, my mother was dying. I wasn't looking for anything really, really big, but it was always kind of an option. Like, I was always a relationship guy. I loved being married.
Right.
So I was never just out to score with a woman and not call her again. I was the other guy. I was the one who was like, I'm looking for a relationship.
Right.
Because my other relationship broke up. So you should never date me because, oh my God, I'm trying to fit your head in this cardboard cutout that I have that says wife.
Totally. Help me, I'm alone. Thing. I don't like it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of guys like that.
Yes, there are.
Yeah. So I was never that cat. So for me, I was looking at this going, that was never the thing for me. I never went out going, I hope I score. You know, I was always hoping I'd score.
Sure.
But, you know, I never got into the negging thing because I was like, eventually then I have to have a relationship with this person. I'm hoping to call them again. I'm hoping to, you know, get to know what they're about and get to know what they're like. And if I sit there and start our relationship and our friendship off with, oh, by the way, wow, I ain't seen shoes like that since I was at the circus and I don't like clowns, like it just, it doesn't, it was not my style per se, but I know guys that did it,
Yeah.
And it's like, you
Absolutely.
guys are assholes. And I, usually called them on it.
Well,
I ended up sweeping in and taking the girl after they were done.
It is a tactic that I am not all too familiar with, because I am and struggle with not being the first guy in your scenario where I'm like, I would just like to hook up, please don't talk to me, stop talking, we just have sex, please leave now, I don't know, like just go, like thank you for your service.
Friends with privileges, but they were still friends.
Well, and then
privileges too, because benefits was a little, presumptive. Privileges is better. You have privileges,
right? It's like benefits. I'm getting no copays on this. Yeah, no, but it's and I'm fine with. I think it's great. Go out there, sow your oats, do your one night stands, but don't. It's just this concept of women. It's misconception that women need to be broken down before they'll like you or they can be sort of conquered, kind of thing.
Right.
And it's such bullshit. And the problem is that there are women out there who are completely insecure and who wouldn't even notice this was happening, or even if they did notice it was happening, they're not like me and most of the women I know who'd be like, hey motherfucker, fuck off, like I don't like, like they're not like that.
No, or they think really what it is I think, and Roger said this too, and sometimes I agree with him. I'm like, there's a very, very, and I don't mean to generalize, please understand, but in my experience, see, I covered. In my experience, there is a contingent of people that might be our age that think I can fix this. I can fix him.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't do this.
I am one of those people. My last relationship came from I can fix him.
Yes, and my first marriage was legit. I got my wife to admit that. I'm not talking out of school. My ex-wife married me thinking she'd fix me.
Yeah,
and
a lot of women do that.
Yeah, and I was like, and we went 10 years, and we had a real rough start, but then we were okay, and then, come to find out, she wasn't going to. And when I realized that she didn't like me anymore was when I stopped trying to get the marriage back. When I was like, wait, I'm not your friend. That's what this is about. I'm like your husband, but I'm not your friend.
Yeah.
My current wife, the woman I'm married to now, I've known since college. We were friends in college. We never dated.
Right.
So like we have that built in, and this is my advice. Mating Habits is an advice show. For God's sake, you want it to last. You have to be friends.
Yeah.
Like, unless, because otherwise, because there have been times where I'm like, holy fuck, this is not easy. But she's my best friend that I've known for 25 years.
Right. No, there's 100% truth in that. And something that I will freely admit, I tend to not make friends with men who aren't married.
You said that last week.
Yeah, or otherwise completely unavailable, because I don't want to then have to follow up with I'm at a weird point in my life right now where I really don't want a relationship. I feel like I'm supposed to have a relationship. I feel like I will eventually want a relationship. I feel like I need to work on getting to the point where I get a relationship. But right now I just don't fucking want it. And I don't feel like it.
Then.
Well, but then I'm like, but then there's all this I should be going out and doing things. And I like going out and doing things. I like going out and meeting new people. And I do make that effort. And because I agree, I tend to find guys I like the look of who I think, I could mold this into a relationship. And that's stupid of me. It has never worked. I've been in dozens of relationships. It doesn't work.
Right.
And what I need to do is fall in love with a friend. But I never make friends with single men ever.
Right.
Ever. I just don't.
For me, it's, the advice I got, because I was like that too, because there was a while there, even post-divorce, where I was like, I should be available to her. Like, I'm trying to make this work. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I should be doing. My friend looks at me, and he's a good friend. He's a Christian friend too. And he's like, all right, the problem is the should word. He's like, what do you want? Like, this woman has been vile, terrible, God, Deb, if you're watching this, forgive me, but you were, she was, it was stuff like that. And he was like, it's the should. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, well, no, I don't want to go through this again. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, well, there you go. And so should, I've worked the last 7 years of my life, I've worked to get should out of my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Because should makes you do things that you don't, that are not necessarily going to make you happy. And we get one go around on this.
100%.
So, you know, should, if you're in a dating relationship and you're like, well, I should stick around because blank, but it's especially if it's toxic or abusive, get the fuck out. There are tons of people in your life. And if you don't have any, listen, if you're worried about somebody, because I beat this into my daughter, if you're worried about somebody who's going to say, I told you so, doesn't matter. Get the fuck out. Call the people you think is going to tell you I told you so. Let them have a good day.
Yeah.
Get
they
out.
fucking told you so. And that's good. You listen to them next time.
Yes. Because but legit, like, should is the worst word to ever use in relationships, because should means you're denying yourself, and you're kind of upset that with negging, it seems like, you know, some of these guys are denying, you know, these women are denying their desires and stuff. It's like, maybe should go out of your vocabulary.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think
not invited back.
No, I think that the should thing is the problem. My last relationship was all about he's good looking, he's successful ish.
Yes.
Not anymore. But
well, you and he broke up. You were his muse.
Yeah. No, and he also got fired. But all that didn't matter anyway, because he had a fantastic job and still seemed to have no money. I don't know where it went. You know, but it's it's this sort of this idea of like, oh no.
Okay.
You can't be 350 pounds with a coke habit. No.
Visual joke. If you go watch the feed, become a patron so you can see the visual joke.
You can see, yes. No. No, you're just completely mismanaged. He's not good with finances or whatever. But
I'm Irish. I'm a Magic player. I have like $7 to my name.
Oh, well, see, I buy things all the time. I'm good with money. But still, but just, you know,
rich.
But this, well, I'm not rich, but I ain't hurting. But like, yeah, like that, like, you know, there's, I mean, and 90% of it was because of how good looking he is. God, he's good looking and tall. It's amazing what women will do for tall, especially if you're 6'1". You know, so it was this thing of like, oh, well,
you put heels on and you're like 9 feet tall, and
I don't wear heels anymore unless I'm laying down. I don't feel the need. I just I'm like, no, but seriously, but listen.
Jesus Christ.
No, look.
Get out.
No man.
God damn
no man has ever seen me walking down the street and been like, but she's wearing flats. I'm out of here. Like that. Men don't give a shit about that stuff. And they hurt my feet. I didn't used to, but now they do. I'm old.
Hey, I love I see what I call like hooker heels. I'm like, all right.
They're called pleasers.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm not wearing that shit
up here in the North Country.
I'm not wearing that shit down to the local restaurant. I'm probably wearing Croc flip flops because I'm gonna be comfortable because I've earned it. But also my feet are apparently feet are a thing now. So
yeah.
Oh, sidebar. Oh. Someone did a scientific thing about why feet are the number one fetish that people have.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Let's hear it. I'm raptured.
So there are all these different the ridges and wrinkles in your brain all have things that they're mapped to, right? And so you can sort of spread out the whole human body on like picture form over top of the brain to see what like if you touch this part of your brain it goes to your hand, or you touch this part of the brain it goes to your shoulder.
Nerve mappings, yes.
Yes, thank you. The nerves for genitals are right next to nerves for feet. And so they think that there's some sort of crisscross or some sort of just like general, like, it's close enough. Because feet should not be the number one body fetish.
No.
Because feet are gross and they sweat and they step on the ground. So
who sweat, but I'm all right with them.
Well, that's a secondary sex characteristic. There's a reason that shows health and reproductive availability and, raising children. Your feet are just gross, man.
You're not wrong. I've never been.
Feet are gross. I'm not a foot person. If someone puts their
feet got athlete's foot like constantly and toe jam and shit. Nobody.
Oh yeah, I don't want to go down there. I don't need to be around all that.
Ingrown, but mine are ratty.
But I can tell you right now,
hair on the toes.
I shave the hair off my toes, but I got it. Of course, I shave my entire body just basically. but yes, but like honestly, I could sell a picture of my foot right now. Just no big deal. Like someone would pay $50 for a picture of one foot. So it's a thing.
That's the new Patreon.
I thought about it. I thought
$30 be like, get a picture of my foot.
It's one picture of my gross foot. Enjoy. But yeah, so I don't know where that just came from. It's just like a scientific thing I just found out like 2 days ago. But anyway, like so I'm gonna put all these articles in the show notes. If you listen to the show, you get what negging is. Be careful. If you're a guy who does this on purpose, you're not listening to this show unless you're downloading it. Yeah. And if that's the case, thanks for listening. Thanks for
your download counts the same as anyone else's.
Thank you. But no,
but you're a scumbag.
If you're listening to this and you don't want to be someone who does this just because you're nervous or you don't know what's going on, look at these links, look at some of these examples, and just be really cognizant of why are you saying the thing that you're saying? Is it to make the person feel lucky? Because that's not a good way to feel. You're lucky I like fat girls. That's not no woman wants to ever hear that because it's like I'm not lucky. You're an asshole. And of course you like fat girls, like all your friends do too, because they're calling me in my DMs. It's men. This is the thing. A lot of men they have these skinny wives and they're so proud. Oh God, they're so proud. Look at my wife. She's so skinny. I landed a skinny wife, at least in my local area. This whole thing about my wife, she's skinny. She can fit into her wedding dress. Oh. And then they're sending me their dick pics and they're talking about like, oh, like these are the same men who are always trying to fuck the rest of the fatties that are in my friend group. Like, fuck you, dude. Congratulations. Other men are real impressed that your wife looks like she has an eating disorder.
Who's probably also cheating on you as well.
So. Well, I can't say that. I can neither for confirm nor deny. But you're correct.
And with Kelly, they're also sending Kelly pics.
Look, listen. I've never been so fat that I couldn't fuck your man or your lady.
Together at the same time.
Out of spite, I'll do it.
Oh dear.
I've done that before and it was enjoyable. Completely blew up a whole friend.
Okay, which way did it go? Which way did it go? Did it start with the dude and then go to the wife, or the wife and then go to the dude?
It was just the dude. But the wife pissed me off, and she said,
shit,
and like straight to my face said, "I've got a wedding ring. What do you have?" And I'm like, an answer for all your husband's DMs he's been sending me. You bitch.
Yeah, I had to have that talk with my wife. I'm like, she's in these little guilds on her thing, and she's got Snapchat. I'm like, no, honey, you don't understand. Snapchat was created for dick pics. She's like, it was not. I'm like, no, that's legit what it was created for. They're like, send the dick pic and it goes away, and if they try to save it, you'll see it. I'm like, that's what it's for. No, it isn't. Okay,
that's what it's for.
But my kids are on it. I'm like, I know. I don't like it.
And everyone needs to have a talk with their teenage children of both genders about, or any gender, about don't put naked pictures of yourself on the internet. Number one,
fuck no.
People are going to save it and laugh at you because people are mean. And also it's a fucking crime. You will get, you can get charged for child pornography, even if it's your own body.
Right.
So don't do it.
Yeah.
Also, they're going to share it with everybody.
I'm kind of lucky in that my kids are kind of, they have no, like, and I know this is weird and I'm probably going to one day regret this, but it's almost like they have no rebellious streak at all, any of the three.
That's
the
good.
Youngest being the one. But, my daughter's like, no, I'm quitting college and moving in with my boyfriend. What? I'm like, well, at least she's not lying about it.
No, that's good. It's always good. It's especially with young girls. It's good to have aggressive, very going to make a stand young women. It's the way to be.
I've been very, very supportive of her and stuff like that. I'm like, you're going to find your way. She went to school for art. So I was like, no, I'm not surprised, honey. We live in rural upstate New York. What the fuck are you going to do here?
Right. Like, I mean, quit college or don't. I mean, honestly, at this point, it's just savings.
Yes, exactly. So,
but yeah. So, and also here's another thing, and this should terrify, if any of the men who've ever been in and out of my life, anytime you ever sent me a DM or a text where you flirted with me or said you wanted to cheat on your wife with me,
you saved it.
I saved it. I always
can you delete mine?
You've never sent me you don't have my number. You never
sent
me a text. but no. And here's the other thing too. And I'm a cool girl. I'm not gonna blow up put your shit on Front Street, but I saved it. So understand that other women you're doing this to have saved it and might send it to your damn wives. God, I was like, it's like two dozen local men just like, whoa, what? Huh? I say that shit. I'm not getting blamed because once again, I'm friends with all married men. And all that sort of stuff. I'm not creeping in anybody's DMs. I'm not trying to take nobody's man. I don't want them. I get to hang out with them anyway. If I wanted to have sex with them, I would. I don't. So this idea of like, I would hate to ever be accused of anything and be like, oh, well, look at this.
I can't. This is one of the times where I'm thankful for the Y chromosome. Like I don't even have to think about that. I mean, in some regards, I do. I've always been careful with like, I do things like I don't ride in a car alone with a female coworker. Why? Because I like my job.
Yeah.
And that, or somebody's, I don't friend on Facebook. And I've got friends from college, 25, 30 years, and I'm friends with their sons and daughters. If their children friend me, sure. If they don't, okay. I'm not going to like send out a request because I'm like, I'm the creepy Uncle Will.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I have that rule. No. I do not. I've got all kinds of requests sitting there from friends. Kid, I will never friend your child, your kid. I don't care if they're 27 now. I'll never friend them on Facebook or Twitter or anything. I'm not their friend.
Right. So I just, it's always been that way with me because I'm a guy. That's what I have to worry about because in the court of public opinion, it takes one person to say he did this. And rightfully so, because there's a lot of assholes out there. I understand that that's just the cause of having the Y chromosome.
There's nothing wrong with covering your own ass there.
No.
Nothing wrong with it.
So yeah, it's like that shit. But I can't imagine having to deal with like somebody coming up and be like, you're trying to sleep with my wife. Because I'll look them dead in the eye and go, well, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. No, I tell you, I'm fine with it too. I don't mind when men come on to me because I'm not gonna carry through with it.
Right.
It's fine, and especially if they're my good friends, because it's like shut up, or like, oh okay, yeah, wouldn't it be great? It would be great. We're not gonna do it. Yay! Yeah, we're not. It's not. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So it's cool. I do save it. I save all of them.
Good to know. Good to know.
I've been all the way back to the iPhone, the one that came out in 2008.
The iPhone 3.
Yeah,
they went iPhone and then iPhone 3G, and I was like
3G. That's when I first got the iPhone.
Yes, that's when I got mine.
I have a small folder on my phone called.
You kidding me? I had an app on my phone where I kept all like the pics that were sent to me and stuff like. Because I'm like, and it looked like a calculator. I'm like,
I remember that app. I had a girlfriend who I worked with in at the escort agency who had that.
Yeah. When I was single, like this is the best thing ever. Because a girl would be like, well, let me look at your phone. Absolutely. Here you
go. I would never in a million years look at another person's phone, male, female.
Chicks were, I shouldn't say it like that, but the girls I was seeing, they were
never in a million years.
Yeah.
If you want to cheat on me, go right ahead. I will find out, and that'll just be when we break up. Was when I find out.
Cheating was never. It was too much like work. I never got into cheating because I'm like, this is how the hell do I keep this straight?
I can't do.
I gotta tell you like where I was.
Yeah, no, I can't. It's never been a thing for me. But well, what else? Is there anything else we need to talk about negging, or we need to move on to table flips?
I guess, if this is how you want to run the show and, your stuff, I mean, on other shows I've been on, but you got such great microphone that, this is not what, no, I'm just kidding. Yes,
like, what?
I'm trying to find a way to neg the podcast.
It's hard to neg this podcast.
Yes, it is. It is so amazing.
It's like a warm slice of bacon between two pieces of bread. Filled with mayo.
Put some tomato on there. I'm there.
So, where the mutton's nice and lean. Go on.
So table flips. I have a very specific table flip.
Okay.
This goes for all the old ladies who are at the conference. It goes for all my friends. If you're listening, if you have a smartphone, I can figure out how it goddamn works. I'm so tired of people who don't know how to do anything on their smartphones. You should have seen the amount of people at this conference when they were putting links up on they're putting web links up on a projector, like a presentation. And I simply just said, could you forward me this PowerPoint? And so I was following along on my phone with the PowerPoint because the links worked on the phone. You know, I could just, and then if they didn't, I could copy and paste them and follow it. And it was like I was a goddamn wizard. They were like, "Oh, how'd you do that?
Oh my!"
What? And I'm like, just have them email it to you. Oh, well, I don't get email on my phone. Well, why do you pay $100 a month for a phone? What do you talk on the damn thing? This is your computer, your pocket computer. Get your email on it. Connect your email account.
It's your tricorder.
And yeah, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, your work email? You don't get personal email? No. I just learned how emojis work last week. Well, you should jump off a bridge because you really and truly we've had smartphones since 2007. Like, and they've had smart. It's not like they came out of a cave and were like squinting and like, what's this?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how it works. They've had these things and carried them around and paid for them. If you own a piece of technology, figure out how it works.
You are so going to end up reborn. If there is reincarnation, you're going to be a reborn as like a suicide prevention counselor, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Just jump off a bridge. You know what?
Do it.
Vat of acid right over here. Just go to town.
Do it. Like, you're useless. You've got no use to the
Get
universe.
out of my gene pool.
God. But yeah, just figure out how your phone works. Don't talk to me about, well, I can't. How do you send gifts in chat? You download a GIF keyboard. Where are my keyboards? Well, in your settings. Where else would your keyboard be? Like, look at where are my settings? I don't know. Just look under the thing that looks like a gear. Well, I have an
Kelly,
Android.
but you were one of the youngest people there. Like,
this is not just at the conference. This is me with people who've been on this show. This is me with people in my life. I don't understand how any of that works. Well,
subtitle, Paris.
No. Oh,
now I'm going to get yelled at by Paris.
You're yelled at. Paris is in there. Paris essentially invented Doppler radar. Like, she's like the smartest one out of all of us.
I know. That's why I said it, because now I'm just baiting your ass.
She basically invented
it's negging.
I know you're negging. It will definitely not work with her, and she might stab you.
Yes. Where in upstate New York does he live? Can I have flyer miles?
Let's go. Let's take a trip. Let me stab someone. She's the stabbiest person I know who's never, I think, actually stabbed anyone. But it's just a matter of time.
It's only a matter. I don't want to be the first. Actually,
don't be the first.
I'm good.
I
have too much to live for.
She's little but mighty. She'll come up from the bottom and she'll get you.
Like Arya in Game of Thrones.
Very much. But she has better hair. Paris has better hair. But no, seriously, figure out how your phone works. I've got a friend. She is older, but she still works in my field where we have to work with multiple laptops and microphones and AV equipment and speech recognition software. And she can't do a Zoom call. She has to come to my house to do Zoom calls for the state because she doesn't know how her internet works. She can't connect her laptop to her internet. She can't get Zoom to work on her laptop. And when I opened up her laptop, she was running Windows 7.
Oh dear.
And I said, that's going to update in brick. I was like, you're going to have to go and get the whole new Windows update because nothing will run on this. You need 10 or above. And she's like, oh, but it always just is run on this. And I said, the second this connects to the internet, it's going to crash. I was like, it's not. Listen to me. Someone who had Windows 7 up until 2017. You've got to fix this. And I was like, and I'm not going to do it for you. You have to take it to someone who you're going to pay to do it because I don't have time to reboot your whole machine. Just go buy a new fucking laptop at this point.
Exactly.
And I told her, I said, this laptop is 10 years old. Throw it away.
Laptops are I've always told everybody, laptops are a 2 to 4 year cycle, depending on how much you spend initially. The less you spend on it, the sooner you have to replace it.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's
but
why
outside is 4 years. You might be able to nurse it, but
look, I just dropped $1,000 on one because I'm gonna try to get 5 out of it. But I understand that at 3.5. No, well, I have a MacBook, but no.
And that lasts for 19. My 2011 is still running.
That's Mac though. I mean,
I love Mac.
I prefer Dell. Well, I prefer PC. But anywho, figure out how your fucking phone works. I can't help you anymore. Like just take a day and mess around with it and get to know it. I can't. Your email should come to it, and then you should be able to go into your email and search through it. These are very simple things.
Speaking as a technology professional whose literal job is to do that for somebody for money, don't listen to Kelly. She's like, I also want a table flip co-host who don't understand what the fuck table flips are about.
As I am inspiring people to cut into your livelihood, you can do this yourself. You can. He's just going to Google it. You can Google it too.
Shut up.
The first time I found out that computer programmers go and find code that's already been written, cut and pasted, and put it in their program, I literally wanted to just stab somebody. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I thought y'all were some sort of wizard gods. You don't know what you're doing either."
That's what we call them, script kiddies.
Yes. Anger. All right, go ahead. Flip your table.
All right. So my table flip, I changed it because originally, because I'm on call this weekend, it was going to be password resets. And no matter what, users are ridiculously, but it's too close. But there's something else going on. So this is a much better table. Look, I understand that in the pandemic, we've learned how to redo things. And so one of the things I tend to do a lot now is if there's an event going to happen, I will create a Facebook event. And I will invite my friends, or, for the big one I'm thinking about is my uncle who passed away from COVID. We finally had his memorial 2 weeks ago. So I'm helping my cousin out with that because I used to be a pastor in training. So I was, and I say, fuck, yes, I understand. There's some Southern people who are like, whoa, but anyway.
Not who listen to this show.
Not who listen to this show. Anyway, so I was acting kind of as the pastor for that. And I was like, look, he's like, how many people do you think are going to come to the after event? And I'm like, there's no way to know because COVID protocols were just lifting. I'm like, what I think we should do is let's just put in a Facebook event out there and have people respond so that we know how much food to buy and know how much stuff to do. It's like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So we did it. We created one for both the memorial and the after thing. Really, we were worried about the after thing. Fucking like it was my wife who responded, I responded, Tommy responded, my dad responded. That's it. And then 12 people showed up later. I mean, he bought enough food. He's like, what do I do here? And I'm like, they're not responding. I don't know. But if somebody's taking time, this is what pisses me off out there. Etiquette, okay? If somebody takes time to invite you to something that's not their band playing, that shit. Think about it, okay?
Something they have to cook for.
Yeah, if it's a picnic, like right now we have a picnic going next week with my college friends. So my wife and I are going and a few other people, and they've kind of responded, but I know that there's other people out there that might be coming who haven't, or who said they're coming and then won't come. Like, it's like both things. Have enough etiquette to where if somebody's taking time to build this event, like for me, man, I'm putting pictures up there. I'm like making this shit like, I want to make it sing to you if I can find a way to do it.
Right.
Like, just fucking take the time to respond. That's all. Like, just say going, not going. Fucking stay away from interested. Okay. No interested. I don't care that you're interested. Are you coming or not?
Maybe. Maybe I'm coming. I don't know.
Wow. That sounds like.
Yeah, don't make a sound of that. Don't make a screen cover that.
Oh, I'm definitely. Oh, I have to record that. Maybe I'm coming. I don't know.
No,
that's a sound drop. That I'm going to give that to Tim for GURPS.
Well, here's the thing.
No, sorry.
If I'm saying maybe, I'm not. Same with the invite.
If you have to ask, you're not doing it right. Oh, did you get there? That automatically means, because I've never wondered. I've never been like,
there shouldn't be a mystery. Shouldn't be a mystery. You would know. You would know.
And then for me, it's like, and listen, that's the thing. Like, I'm a guy. Like, I go Kevin Smith style. Like, it ain't hard for me. I'm gonna get there. Like,
right.
Rest assured. Like, no. Anyway, yeah. Facebook events. Don't make a Facebook event for that, by the way. But fucking respond. Fucking put going, not going.
Right.
Like, just because people fucking gotta know.
They gotta. If food is involved, they have to know to count food.
Yeah.
I think I normally know whether or not I'm going to something right away.
Right.
And so I'll say yes or no. And if it's no, I'll put some sort of excuse that's usually true. Like, I got something else to do, or I'm not gonna be able to, whatever.
I have a better offer.
Or I just don't want to because I don't like you. And I don't know why we're Facebook friends.
I've met a guy with abs, and I'm gonna explore it.
I'm gonna explore it. I'm gonna see what that's about. But yeah, no, I agree. Oh my God, I'm excited that there might be Facebook invite. So sad I don't get Facebook invites.
Yeah, you get excited about it. You're like, ooh,
I know. Well, I'm not on Facebook that often. I put some stuff on Facebook recently. I'm not on there that often because
No, I'm on there quite a bit because it's how my wife, because she has an Android phone, she integrated her Facebook and her messaging. So when she text messages me, it's through Facebook.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, well, shit, now I got to keep this stuff open because I have an iPhone, man. I'd rather you iMessage me all day.
Same.
What are you going to do?
It's funny. It's funny because there have been times where I will get an article through a Facebook Messenger from Roger, and I'll be looking at it, and then I'll get a Discord thing from him.
Yes.
So I'll go and I'll look at that, and while I'm looking at the Discord thing, he'll text me, and I go, "Could you pick a fucking platform, please?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm being attacked. Like, you got to just..."
Hey, wait! Since I've co-hosted, am I going to get like changed in Discord or get invited to like a Facebook super secret host group? Because I collect those like action figures.
There's no Facebook super secret. I can totally change your permissions. You'll have access to everything you have access to now.
Yes, but that way I can stop paying for it. Ah!
Oh, never. This show will never air. It's funny too. Is you're not the you now not the only co-host that is a member of the Patreon.
Yes. By the way, the views expressed by me do not necessarily reflect mating habits of modern geek. Nor does me being a patron ensure that you get invited to be a host. You must have game and no negging.
No negging, and be available
when
I've waited to the last minute. So, all right. Well, let's talk about our Huga, about our good feeling. I know. Just to end it on a positive note before I kill everybody within a 5-mile radius. I'm so angry these days. So one of the bright
get
things,
laid or something. What the fuck?
I don't even that would irritate me.
You gotta keep one, Cal. You gotta keep one who knows the map. But
they none of them. Oh God. And the amount of it, I literally am going to Vegas in November, and
oh dear,
we'll be looking into male escorts. For sure.
Absolutely. No.
Absolutely.
Dude, I was out in Vegas for a month. I got a girl. Like my parents were out there.
I don't want to have to work for it. I want it delivered like Uber Eats. I would like the one I picked out to show up, and as a friend of ours once said, which is the wiser words that never been spoken. You don't pay a prostitute to have sex with you. You pay a prostitute to leave. You pay them to leave. This would be someone.
I think that's a movie somewhere.
It was wise words to me. I was like, that's exactly right. Like I literally just to pick someone out of a catalog to then, spend an hour and then go home. Fantastic. That's all I want. That's all I want. I don't want to play any video games. I don't want to hear about your comic books you're reading. I don't want to have to meet you at a sushi restaurant. I don't have to do any of that. It's not as easy as you think to be able to, because then their feelings are hurt. Well, what about me as a person? I don't care about you as a person. I care about how pretty your hands are.
I got to go on a side trip because this is funny. When I was out there for a month, I found this all right, it was the mid 90s. So they only had bulletin board systems and stuff, which was like a cheap form of instant messaging before it happened.
Don't explain BBS
so you would
to me.
connect to a BBS, and I connected to a matchmaking BBS in Vegas. And really, I did it because I was going out there and I'm like, I don't know anybody. My parents live there, but I wanted to do my parents' stuff and hang out in the casinos and stuff because my mother might have been a compulsive gambler and living in Vegas was like the worst idea.
Probably not the best place.
But also I was like, I'm 21. I want to do things. So I got on this group. I started talking to this woman. Awesome. So the first 2 weeks, Christmas time and New Year's, I'm hanging out with my parents. And then her and I started hanging out. Things kind of started happening. She took me out clubbing. I went clubbing in Vegas at 22 years old because I turned 22 at Christmas. I'm like, yeah, it was awesome. We had a great time, tons of sparks. Everything's golden. So the second to last night I'm out there, she's like, well, do you want to see the lights from the desert? I'm like, absolutely.
Sure.
And I, I'm like, yes, all right, story to take home. Nobody will believe it. So she takes me out in the middle of the desert, and this is how stupid I am. So we kind of, she's like, well, it's, nicer if we're sitting in the back. I'm like, okay. So we get in the back and we're sitting there and we're just kind of looking, things kind of start happening. And then I go to kiss her left hand and there's something that wasn't there before. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, and then, so I'm like, maybe she's engaged. And then there's 2 rings. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I had morals even then.
Sure.
I'm like, I hit the brakes. I'm like, you're married? And she's like, yeah, didn't I tell you? I'm like,
You know damn well.
No. She's like, is that a problem? I'm like,
yeah.
Kinda, yeah. Well, this is where my stupidity was, because I didn't think this through. Because so she ended it. It was cool. We get in the car. She was a little upset, but she understood. So we're in the car. We're driving back out of the desert. And in my brain, I'm like, oh, shit. She could have left me in the middle of the fucking desert in Nevada where I don't know anyone. And there are coyotes. I could have been killed. Like, I'm like, this woman wanted to be a bitch. Like, I could have legit been killed. There ain't no cell phones. It's 1994.
You would have died of exposure. Coyotes aren't going to eat you.
Oh no, they will if there's many. Like if they're together, if there's more than one. Oh yeah, I know this. Like, because my dad lives in Arizona now. But I was like sitting there and I'm like, I'm of course I don't say this to her, but I get back and I'm literally like, holy shit, I could have been killed.
Yeah.
and I told my dad years later, he's like, yeah, I don't know, son. I might have gone through. He's like, you could have, we never would have known what happened to you. We didn't even know this girl's name. I'm like, I know.
Now so imagine that's what women feel like when we go hiking with men we don't know. Yes. When we go meet them at restaurants and they say, let's drive to a second location. There you go.
Oh. So yes, I've experienced that.
Yes,
I just thought I'd share that.
That's funny.
So you're Huga.
Oh yes. So at this conference from hell, they had all these vendors because whenever you have a group of women meeting, you have to have that group of women also
have an opportunity to shop.
Well, and not only shop, but shop at each of their own multi-level marketing, Pampered Chef, Lululemon, Party Light. So basically, the state is paying us a salary where we have fantastic benefits, but yet some of our people want to sell multi-level marketing shit. So it isn't like they made a craft and selling it. They also want to sell. They're trying to basically rope you into their pyramid scheme.
Right.
But one of the things there was this organization called Warrior Canine Connection. Aww. And what it is it's service dogs that are trained for veterans specifically. And let me tell you, you couldn't be more of a cat person than I'm a crazy cat person. But dogs are angels, and you'll never be able to convince me otherwise. And these service dogs, we were allowed to interact with them because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to talk to service dogs, pet them, don't even look them in the eye. They're working. Right. But these were allowed, and they were because they were babies, and they were the sweetest dog. And so I spent a lot of time just over there just booping the noses of the sweetest little chocolate labs and black labs.
Listen, if you have an undiagnosed anxiety disorder, go get that shit diagnosed. Then you get a dog.
No, I don't want a dog. Dogs are too much trouble. It's fine. I can handle it. Yes. I'm just mean.
No. What? No.
But no, seriously, go check out Warrior Canine Connection. I gave them some little money. It's .org. I gave them some money. They're doing a good service. They're training these dogs, giving them to veterans. What is it? Every 22 seconds, a veteran commits suicide, or is it every 22 minutes? It's awful.
22 years is too long. Or too
absolutely.
Short,
and someone explained something about us coming out of this pandemic to put into perspective, because a lot of us are coming out of the pandemic having to go back to work. I was lucky; we never stopped working, so nothing really has changed that much for me, except for going out for fun stuff. But people who were working at home for a year and told stay in, germs are going to kill you, people are dying, do your part, are now going, okay, come back on Monday. And so it's a weird transition of people going, well, I'm not ready to come back and I don't know how to do this and I'm anxious about it or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's how soldiers feel when they get sent home, because no one de-escalates, no one teaches them how to be civilians again. And so it's like, this is a very small example of the big overarching, you go over there and you live your life in fear of being shot or killed and then having to shoot and kill other people. And it's just, you're away from your family and all that kind of stuff. And then they just drop you off at the bus station. See you next time. And it's incredibly difficult for people to adapt to come back.
And then they'll sit there and be like, but prisoners get halfway houses. Yeah, but they've done nothing wrong. You can't be like, now you're going to live in this halfway house for 4 months.
Right. It's like, the government needs to have them take some time and maybe
at the end
home.
Yeah.
They need to be taught how to be civilians again. The same way I think all these offices, all these fucking boomers who have been able to let people work from home for the past year. Like, seriously, like it worked. let them stay home some of the time.
Right.
We proved you can do it, and it's better for the environment, and it's better for the overhead of any business.
Well, you're going to see more of it. A friend of mine is still, a friend of mine works in commercial real estate back home. And something like SiriusXM has an office in Rochester. When I say back home, I'm from Rochester, New York. I moved to the capital region of New York. So back home, though, they have an office there for SiriusXM. My buddy, who was working in the call center as a support rep and stuff like that, he's like, no. They completely closed our office. We're never going back. And basically what's happened is another friend of mine who works commercial real estate is like, no, they're like, we have all of this stuff now because all of these companies were able to get out of their lease because of COVID. So they opted for it. They got out of their lease, and we could re-rent the place, but we can't. They're like, there's nobody. If you can work from home, companies are letting you do it now. Yeah, so they should. And it's great. Even I occasionally will take a day or two and work from home, and I let my bosses know, and they don't, I'm a fireman, really. Not a real fireman. Right. Yeah. Like I'm there just to make somebody feel better. It's really what it is. Like if something goes wrong, I'm going to be there to fix it, even if I can't fix what they've got. Right. It's so my value isn't being there, but there are times where I've been like, listen, I need to work from home. And, my old gig was dealing with underprivileged youth, and they needed me on center. Yeah. So,
some like jobs you can't do it. You have to be there. Yeah.
They sent all the kids home. I used to work for Job Corps, which is this great organization. They sent all the kids home nationwide. They sent them all home. I was working there for a while. They sent us home for 2 months. Like we worked from home, and then they started trickling us back in. IT was literally among the first. And I was like, even I had it like the first couple of weeks. I'm like, yeah, I miss I did well at home, but I worked from home for 4 years. Right. Late 90s. So
for a lot of people, it's good. A lot of people prefer it, and they should be able to stay. It sucks for like receptionists and for people who own commercial real estate, but it is, it's the new, I'm hoping that if anything, it'll make a change to where some places will accept, like they do in lots of places in Europe, accept a 4-day work week. Right. Or accept this is the amount of work you have to get done. If you finish it all by Monday, I don't care. Sounds great. Right. Like, really and truly, because I think people are more efficient when they don't have to spread it out. You don't have to sit there. Every job where I've had to be there all 5 days, I was done by Wednesday.
Exactly.
Thursday
I'm like that.
Yeah, me too. So, I get it all done. And so Thursday was the day that I just kind of looked around, and then Friday was the day where I would go visit other offices and just
watch movies.
People. No. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that. Now we'll have things like jury duty or whatever, and there's nothing to do at court, so I go take my computer and go watch Netflix. Which is funny because now the courthouses have blocked Netflix from the secure Wi-Fi, so I have to set up a hotspot, and so I have to really watch my data. Because sometimes I'm there for 8 hours, but anyway. But yeah,
so my Huga.
Do your Huga.
My Huga is, and again, this is not misogynistic by any stretch, but it's not misogynistic until I explain it further. I'm loving grocery delivery. Like I'm paying the $12 to Walmart, man. I'm all about it. Like, holy cow. Best thing ever created. Yep. Like we started doing it a month and a half ago, and it's amazing. And I'm gonna be honest why. Part of the reason, like I live in rural, like it takes 25 minutes to get anywhere. So automatically, like a grocery store trip kill me. Yeah. But secondarily to that, like we save so much money. Yes, she's buying online, and I say she because
women make all of the financial decisions. Yeah,
and she just, when we walk down the candy or the snack aisle, she's gonna see things that we don't need, but that we want. And then, like, there's so much money being saved by just getting what it is we need. Like, she has her orders saved, and she gets that, and everything is good. And every once in a while, we get a little treat, but for the most part, it's like, oh, this is so genius, because everything is so much more expensive right now with gas being where it's at. Like, it costs me $50 to fill my Chrysler 300 now at a fill up. So yeah, because I don't use the best gasoline. So
I don't either. But I love, we have Instacart here. That's the only one we have. I love Instacart, and it's worth $15. It's worth the $15. And they're always giving me little, like, this one's free. I'm like, thanks. Yes. And also I like the interaction with the people who are buying the food. or
Right.
who are picking it up, and like them communicating like they don't have this. How about this? And I'm always like, that's fine. Just don't make me have to go to the food line.
No, Walmart just sends it like we subbed this, and we're like, okay, I don't care. I'm like, yes, I understand. I'm paying into the big blue machine. I'd kill for Wegmans.
Look, convenience. Well, we have I'm too far for the Wegmans to deliver to me, but my friends who live in Durham, they get Wegmans brought in.
It's just Wegmans is so. I love you so much. I miss home. Like bulk foods, Zweigel's hot dogs. I don't know if they give you those down there. Like just
I haven't gotten hot dogs from Wegmans.
Oh, if they have Zweigel's, ZWEIGELS, like total hashtag not sponsored.
Are they beef? Are they beef or pork?
Beef.
I love. Okay, I love beef hot dogs.
And they're skinned. They're they called Texas hot, so they're almost bratish, but they're not brats. And they have a red and white variety. So oh yeah. Nothing.
I'll look for those the next time.
Every time I go home, it's like I'm gonna take the biggest pack we got. It gets me through like 6 months. So, but my Huga is God bless grocery delivery, and God bless you, Kelly, for letting me be a part of your show.
well, where can people find you? If people have enjoyed this, where can they find more of you?
Well, first of all, more of me. I'm gaining weight, so you'll see it just anywhere you look. I am the host of and creator, producer, whatever you want to call it, of the PlanesTalkers Podcast. It is a Magic the Gathering, mainly focused on Standard and Commander podcast. You can find PlanesTalkersPodcast.com, or our Twitch is twitch.tv/PlanesTalkersPodcast. And we record every Monday night live. So
it's very exciting. And if you're on the Discord, you'll get the reminder that they're about to go record.
Yeah. I try to not do it too much.
You can do it as much as you want.
All right, cool. I'm going to town.
Where were they sharing bullshit memes about nothing?
All right, you're right.
Especially, I did not expect I lost my virginity, but I got the box that came in meme to cause such a stir. I just thought it was funny.
It was amazing.
It's one of my favorite memes. We were like, oh my God.
Which brings up the Mating Habits Discord. That stuff you'll see in the Patreon section.
We do have a public Discord that is a link. I can't say it to you because it's just a link, but I will put that link in the show notes. You can click on it if you want to get a little taste. If we see anybody in there, we'll maybe go over there and talk to them. But at any level of the Patreon that you join, you get automatic access to the Discord, and we're over there. It starts at 7:30 in the morning, and just the fun never stops.
It's one meme after another. It's a lot of memes. It's Roger calling out you Paris Weather Witch on various things, and then
it's
I'm
him trying
usually
to annoy her.
Yes, and then I'm usually trying to find like the perfect GIF for whatever they're talking about. That's literally if my GIF game is on point that day, and yes, it's GIF, not GIF. It's a soft G. I don't care who the hell you are.
Oh. 100, because it's graphic image file.
Well, the people are like, it should be GIF. I'm like, it's not peanut butter. The guy who invented
it, the guy who named it, said it should be GIF, but he can jump off the same bridge as those other people I mentioned earlier. It's graphic image. They're not graphics. They're not giraffics. They're graphics. Graphic image file.
And now I feel like the subtitle "Fuck Around and Find Out" / the suicide prevention episode. You have literally wished 4 people to jump off bridges today.
I mean, that you've heard today. It's been there more before you got on the Discord. Before you got on the Zoom.
But Kelly, where can people find you? Should you wish to be found?
You can find this show, all the show notes, and links to every other show at Modern Geek. Oh, I don't even know my own website. At matinghabitsofthemoderngeek.com. You can send an email to me, which Will has done in the past a couple times, to moderngeekcast@gmail.com. You can.
In fact, I think I made Paris and the Biz. They were like, "What the hell is this guy talking about?" And I was like, "You guys totally misunderstood what I said." But I don't want to. You said my name on the air, so I'm just happy.
I know, because
you just have to work "Hello, Will" into the show, and I'm like. Again, I'm a press whore.
Yeah. Because how long have you been listening to the show?
2015, no, my mother died in 13, so 2011, 2012, somewhere in
2012. That's when it started, 2012.
Yeah, I was pretty early into that.
Okay.
Basically, I got single and was like, I need help because I ain't got game. And I'm geeky.
maybe these people were just screaming in the background with no advice, no nothing, just
And
rambling.
then, Paris, you can't hear the business, but you can hear Paris. And I'm like, oh God, get on the mic, dude, get on the mic.
You know why? No, he was nowhere near that close to the mic because we'd be at their kitchen table.
Yes.
And he'd be like this. He'd say, let me talk to you about a thing. Like, I know you have to talk into this fuzzy thing. So,
speaking to my microphone.
Speaking to the microphone. So anyway, follow us on Twitter at Mating Habits. Follow me at Kelly Disagrees and join the Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You can be on the Discord and help me make fantastic podcasts at patreon.com/Mating Habits.
Will you remember me? I feel like that should be in the background at all.
Every time I go, please give me $3.
For as little as $3 a month, you can make Kelly Hightower say your name during a podcast.
That's true. Well, thanks for coming on.
Anytime, man. I will never be so busy I can't help out.
Yay. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Take care.